Sorry for being a few minutes late. Okay, may I please have everybody stand for the flag salute? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At the present time, I do not have anything to report out of closed session. Okay. Public
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yes, we have appointed Mr. Philpott as the interim superintendent for the next coming year, well, months, as long as it will take.
Until we bring on
a new superintendent. Okay. Public communication, agenda and non-agenda items. Any person wishing to comment on agenda and non-agenda items may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits the school board from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the board. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something to add. May I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
I would make that motion.
May I have a... Okay. Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivers?
Aye.
I did it again. And Mrs. Conforti? Aye. Pass 5-0. You've got got it. Information discussion items. OHS softball team. Congratulations. Do we have their coach here?
Well, yeah, so President Conforti, what I'd like to do is actually have Coach Marroquin, if you could come up, please, and I want you to introduce all the young ladies to us and stuff. I was able to follow along. I couldn't come to the games, but I was getting basically inning reports and stuff from your principals. So, Mr. Marroquin, you want to start on this end and go to the microphone? Yeah.
Is it on? Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us here tonight. We really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and start off with here at the end. And did you want to take the picture at the call? Okay. Okay. First, we have here Jocelyn Sotelo, Sophia Machado. Put your hand up. Kaylee Germain, Mariah Avila, Lex Oliveras, Bellany Martins, Vanessa Milan, Lexi Elves, Caitlin Barone, Jacqueline Lujan, Hannah Taft, Noelia Navarro, Sophia Dooley, and my assistant, Martina Oliveras.
Swag. Just a little
We're also missing 3 girls: Gabby Vasquez, Haley Starr, and Mia Garcia.
Not yet, not yet.
Did everybody get one? Yes. We have 3 girls that are absent.
Oh, I'll give them, I'll make sure one, do you have 3 for one, and 2 to the other one? Okay. And these are just extra.
That's a pretty group.
Congratulations to all of you, and we hope you have a really good summer. Thank you for doing that for our district.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you. You're gonna need the sticker line.
Okay. Do we have is Mrs. Freitas here? Where, oh, there you are. Come on up. Come on up. We won't make you kneel, we promise.
Yeah.
Mrs. Freitas is retiring after 20 years of service.
Yes, well.
Come on. Mrs. Freitas, come up this way more. There.
So,
Okay,
Yeah, there.
we're going
You
around
have-
to,
yeah.
we're going around.
So,
Yeah.
well, let me just, unfortunately,
Yeah.
Pam, you know, you spent most of your time in nutrition services, right?
Yes.
At different places,
Yes.
all the time. We do have a 20 years of service clock, to remind you what time it is constantly and stuff. 'Cause I gotta tell you, when you're retired, you forget.
I forget the date.
But Carolyn Mendonca wasn't able to make it, but she did send me a text. I want to read that to you. So I
Okay.
want to hold that in front of you, okay? And so what she said was, Pam started in the district in August of 2003-04 school year. She's been part of the nutrition services team ever since. She has worked at every school site and brought her unique personality everywhere she went. Students always looked for Pam on campus. When she suddenly lost her husband, she returned to work sooner than anyone expected to get back to her work family. Just very loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We wish her the best in her retirement as she makes her new home in Arizona, right? But near Laughlin,
Yes.
Nevada.
Right up from the
Like
casino.
5-10 minutes away from it.
So we know you like casinos, so we wish you the best of luck. And you also like the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Yes.
But we want to thank you for the many years of dedicated service. Thank you very much, Pam.
Go to Disneyland.
President Conforti, this might be a good time if the softball team needs to leave, because I know you probably have other things to do tonight. But
Yeah.
here we go. Congratulations again.
Good job.
Yeah.
Next, we have a public hearing on the BOLD program, the Bond Opportunities for Land Development.
So you're opening the
To
public
at
hearing at
6:15.
6:15? Okay.
So this program has been explained to at previous meetings. The best way to kind of sum it up is that every time a home is built or a residence is built here in Newman or in our district, we receive a part of the permit fees that they have to file for that. And normally that would be, we wouldn't get that money until actually they sell the property to the new owner. But the developer of the Manus Ranch development, which has 106 units that are being developed over on Prince, came to us and said, we have a concept where you guys can actually get this money up front and not have to wait until basically everything gets sold. So it's kind of like they're issuing basically kind of like a bond on their own and then upfronting the money to us. So instead of actually about $7,500 coming in as homes are sold, we actually get about $837,000 at once. And so that's this process. It probably wouldn't come to us until sometime maybe before winter break. But that will help a lot with the development of the Von Renner project and other projects we have. So we recommend that we join this program. There are several resolutions later in the action items and mitigation agreements that are going to require your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Philpott. Okay, consent calendar. The consent calendar, okay, I was gonna,
Wait a minute, we have to close, yeah.
oh,
Anyone
close
wanna
that.
speak? No, anybody want to speak? to
Oh,
it?
would anyone like to speak to the bond program? Sorry. Figured it's a no-go. I mean, it's 6:17,
6:17?
right. Okay, consent calendar items are routine in nature and usually do not require board discussion. Individual items may be removed by board members and presented for discussion and separate action. The consent calendar will be adopted. Do we have anything to be,
Yes, I would like to pull 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 for discussion.
okay? So we will vote on the consent calendar and then go back to those.
Okay.
Yeah, approved, that.
Mrs. Conforti?
Yeah, I need a
I
motion.
would make a motion that we approve the consent calendar with those items being removed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bazar. A second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Okay.
Mrs. Conforti? Aye. Passes 5-0. Okay, I'm going to open it up, and first, the approval of Assistant Superintendent of Educational
We
Services.
need,
You're
okay,
gonna
we got
discuss.
our motion and our second.
Yep. Do you have
Okay.
Okay.
Every vote.
The first one that we remove for discussion is approval of Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Special Education job description. Would you like to speak to that, Mrs.?
Well, if I
You may.
if I may. So these, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, is that correct?
4, 5, 6, 7.
4, 5, 6, 8, 9, I thought.
4, 5,
4,
6,
5,
8, 9.
6,
Okay,
8,
not
and
the-
9.
Okay, okay. So these were recommended based upon discussion about equity of cabinet level members in terms of title and salary. And so that's the reason for the approval of Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services. Well, that's actually a renewal of a contract. And a approval of Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources / Support Services job description, which is more encompassing than just the Director of Human Resources. Approve Assistant Superintendent of Chief Business Officer job description, which also includes not just accounting and business, but also nutrition services. And then salary schedules that basically reflect, I'm sorry.
Hold on. I didn't mean 8. I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't need it?
No,
Eight.
no, no,
And you
no.
didn't need 9?
Wait a minute.
The hourly salary schedule?
No.
No.
Okay, just,
Wait a minute.
So you want 4, 5?
Yeah, that's the salary, right?
Yes.
Yes, I did mean 9.
Okay.
well, 9 is classified Assistant
Wait
Superintendent
a
salary.
minute. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I meant 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9, sorry.
4,
I am looking at approval of the Assistant Super of Education Services, Special Education Job, approval of the Assistant Super Human Resources, approve,
Assistant.
the Assistant Superintendent for Chief Business Officer, and then the 2 management, or the certificated management salary schedule and the classified. So I was
Okay.
right, I'm sorry. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, but
Yeah.
per your request as a board, you had asked me to come forward and recommend something that basically creates some equity. And so that's that's really the behind the reason for these recommendations on positions.
Okay.
I had a concern. A part of it has to do with semantics, linguistics, is assistant superintendent. I thought like not with number 4, but with number 5 and 6, and 5 and 6, because I don't think we
Okay,
need.
don't do your discussion yet, you have to do action items, because those get moved to action items, correct?
Right, yes.
They're
Mr.
actually
Candace
right now,
says.
but you're kind of taking it, I mean,
Yeah,
you're taking
might as
them
well.
right now as action.
Right,
Okay, do
because
them
we're into
first,
action
okay,
right now.
all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just that, I think for the size of our district, we do not need 3 assistant superintendents. I can see having our original assistant superintendent, Mrs. Betancourt, and that, but I think the other 2 should be made directors. I think, 1, we're a very small district. 2, to me, it's money that I think I would like to see more in classes. And it may be the idea of semantics, but I think we need to go up more before we go from one position to a much higher position, as seen in education. That bothers me, so that's one of my big main concerns.
And one of my main concerns happens to be other positions in education that are as important, I think, as management. And so I am thinking about teachers and classified salaries. I'm thinking about the perception in the community. So I'm concerned with those things. And when an increase occurs for the certificated and the classified, then there's the Me Too clause, so then the management automatically gets that also. And so I'm looking at that perception because I come from the classroom. And to me, that seems to be very important. As far as having the 3 assistant superintendents, I just think for the size of, I agree with Mrs. Conforti, for the size of our district, I just don't think we need 3 assistant superintendents, but I also understand what Mr. Philpott's saying about the problem with the equity within the cabinet. You just have one person and the other 2 people, how they feel. So it's quite the dilemma, and I asked to have them pulled because I wanted to voice my concerns, and I have questions still in my mind. I'm not feeling comfortable with, say, the certificate management salary, but there is a salary schedule, but it's been redone, so I'm worried about that. And I'm thinking about, from the teacher's perspective, yes, I know you have the opportunity to go into management if you want to, but teachers also have a lot of responsibility, and you're there for the students. So my hopes would be that if there was anyone here that you wanted to voice your concerns, that you actually would voice your concerns about this. I'm trying to voice mine, and I'm trying to be supportive. It's hard, but as a board member, I'm trying to be supportive, so.
Also, I have one other thing. When the jobs were posted, they had a different terminology. And then we added, again, my semantics part, assistant superintendent. And if you were going to apply for a job, that might change your position as to whether or not you would go to just wanting to be, and not, I don't mean it as, put it derogatory, human resources, or would you be aiming towards going to an assistant superintendent? Would that make a change in your mind as to whether or not you wanted to go for that position? Again, it has to do with semantics, but I really feel, coming from the educational field, I really like when there's a job posted that I can look at the job description, what I would be doing, what my pay might be and all that, and does it entail how many hours and everything. So that was another concern that I had. But we would like, if you have something to speak about, please do not feel afraid. There are no repercussions. That's why this is an open session. Unless I'm having a pipe dream. Okay, thank you.
And I would also like to hear from the other board members, how they're feeling about any of this. So if there's any questions or discussions they want to have.
Well, anybody got anything to say? No? All right.
Well, that's my thing is nobody has nothing to say, but like nobody wants to talk, but that's the frustrating part.
Well, from my point of view, we asked Mr. Philpott to take a look at this. We were a little bit concerned about longevity and the way longevity is treated in the district. We were also concerned about whether people in this organization would want to apply for a management position if, in fact, the management position paid little or nothing more than the position they currently had. And so we wanted to have something in the way of an incentive so that somebody who is currently in a middle-level management position, and that's probably a poor way of describing it, but a middle-level administrative position would see a reason to go and apply for one of these, what are now described as assistant superintendent positions, which previously were described as director positions. To me, it does not bother me that we call them assistant superintendents as opposed to directors. And so that's the way it was described here in the agenda, and that's the way I am perfectly comfortable in describing it going forward. it is a concern, I think, of some that this is a expenditure of money, and that someday we may not have enough money to go around. From my point of view, it is an expenditure of money, but it is not a great deal of money. And I know that's relative. It depends on your point of view. Money is something that's intensely personal, depending on your life experience and a variety of other things. But I don't have a problem with the money that's involved in this, and I don't have a problem with any of the job descriptions or the way we are entitling these new positions, if they're even considered new. So I'm going to make a motion. If nobody else has anything to say, or I'll shut up and then I'll make my motion. Anybody got anything else?
Go for it, Sam.
All right, I'm going to make a motion that we approve, and it's probably cumbersome, and I'll ask Mr. Philpott to help me here. We have pulled 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
No,
Oh,
no,
eight,
no,
nine,
not
all right.
7, no.
And perhaps it would be less cumbersome if we called those either by a different number, because we've got duplicate numbers also in action items. But if what were consent calendar items are now action items, and those action items I'm moving approval of. And if somebody will second it.
I'll second it.
All right.
That was done. Mr. Cabral. Okay. Sorry.
For all of those?
Yes, that's my motion. I don't know if you said.
Yeah, I'll second all as well.
So President Conforti, just so for clarity of minutes and stuff, I would suggest since there are 12 action items.
Yeah.
Uh, Before these were pulled off to action, if you're gonna do it as a lump, I would suggest we call that 13.
Okay.
13?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. If you, I just wanna make sure, you're basically proposing, the motion is to group all 5 of those issues into one called 13 now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
4, 5.
It-
on the consent.
As one group in the consent will be, including numbers 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bazar, you motion to do that, and Mr. Cabral, you give a second motion, okay? And then I need a
Roll call.
roll call. How do you do roll, okay. Okay.
Because it's action.
Mr. Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Nay.
Mr. Rivas, I did it,
Aye.
and Mrs. Conforti votes nay. So it's 3-2. Okay. Okay, now.
And we're calling that action item number 13.
13,
Even-
correct.
And so now we'll go back
Action
up to
item.
action item number 1.
Number 1,
Right, now we're
yes.
up back
Yes,
action
okay.
item number 1. Approval of designation of CIF representatives for the 2023-2024 year. Mr.
That comes up every year.
Right.
Normally, it's the principal, the athletic director, and then the superintendent. So in this case, because I've been selected as acting superintendent, I would be the third, basically the third choice. Normally, it's the principal or the athletic director that attends these events.
Okay,
Okay.
so may I have a motion to accept that?
I'll make a motion to accept action item number 1.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Rivas.
Okay. Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst,
Aye.
Mr. Rivas,
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passes 5-0. Approve Board Resolution 2223/23, Board Authorization for Employee 35592 to teach mathematics per EC 44263.
So this employee has the requisite number of units to teach mathematics up through the 9th grade, but has a multiple subjects, so we're required to actually approve this resolution.
And we've done this a number.
We've done this a
Yes.
number of years in a row, yes.
Right.
I'll make the motion that we approve that.
There you go.
I'll second it.
Was that Mr. Cabral?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passes 5-0. Approval of local control and accountability plan approval. That was what we had the other day. This is,
You're just approving the plan that I talked about last week.
Yeah.
right.
I make a motion that we approve the local control accountability plan.
A second?
I'll second.
Your voices are almost the same. Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passes 5-0. Approve 2023-24 budget, and that's what we went through
Yeah.
last week. So may I have a motion to approve the budget?
I'll make the motion to approve the 2023-2024 budget.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. Approve Assistant Superintendent Educational Service Special Education Contract. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services and Special Ed.
May I have a second?
I'll
please?
second.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Approve Assistant Superintendent Human Resources and Support Services. A motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Assistant Superintendent HR and Support Services contract.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Approve Assistant Superintendent Chief Business Officer Contract. A motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Approve Interim Superintendent Contract. Motion, please?
I'll motion to approve it.
A second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Approve Resolution Number 22-23/21, approving, authorizing, and directing execution of a joint exercise of powers agreement relating to the California Municipal Finance Authority.
So, President Conforti, if I may, this is the beginning, there are 4 different items here that relate to the BOLD program. And so the first one is actually a joint powers association. We have to join a joint powers association first, and then an agreement, and then authorizing them to go ahead and on basically without us being involved in it, a bond, and then a mitigation agreement in terms of how that actually is paid out to us. So those are the 4 items that are before you right now, but you have the first one, approving resolution number 22-2321, this before you right now.
Okay, so each one, right?
But each one of it has to be
Okay.
done separately.
Yeah, and that's for the
I make a
LGI.
so moved for the motion on number 9.
And a second, please?
I'll second it.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Excuse me, sorry. Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Approve joint exercise of powers agreement relating to the California Municipal Finance Authority.
So moved.
A second?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
All right.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And Mrs. Conforti votes aye. 5-0. Okay. So I have to put my glasses on. Approve Resolution 22-23/22, authorizing use of the bond opportunities for land development BOLD program, authorizing the California Municipal Finance Authority to accept applications from property owners, conduct proceedings, and levy special taxes within the territory of the Newman-Crows Landing Unified School District pursuant to the Melrose Community Facilities Act of 1982, as amended, and authorizing related actions.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Pass 5-0. Approve school mitigation agreement between Newman-Crows Landing Unified School District and LGI Homes California LLC, a California limited liability company.
So moved.
Motion. Second,
Oh,
Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
aye.
Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye. Passes 5-0. And we already did 13, which came
Yeah,
to a
we
vote
did
of
13.
3-2. Future agenda items. Mr. Philpott.
Well, the next meeting,
Till
sorry about
August,
that.
right?
The next meeting isn't until the middle of August, and so the good thing is we'll have a great program before that meeting, and that is the Back to School Festival on August 5th.
What is it?
The Back to School
Festival.
Festival,
August 5th.
August 5th.
The high school, right?
Yeah, it's at the high school. So, so Allison Cassidy is kind of rounding that up, and so I'm probably going to ask her to give a report out on how that went. But I know we have everybody basically that's is represented by sites, and I know the food service program will do a program there as well. So the biggest thing is, and Allison pointed this out to our executives the other day, is that this is a great opportunity for us to highlight the pool, which should be finished by then. So I've talked to Matt Vargas, and that actually is coming up. It looks like it's probably going to be plastered pretty soon, so that's good. The other thing is there's a couple items that are going to be on the next agenda, and that is some budget-related ones. You normally see a con app that comes through. It's consolidated application of budgets. That's already done, but it just didn't get on this agenda, but it's not required to be done before the end of the fiscal year. So those are the future agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Philpott. Mr. Bizarre, do you have anything to say?
No, I don't.
Yeah, actually, if I could,
Oh,
if I may just go
superintendent
back,
report,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
It kind of bled into a little bit into the
Right.
future agenda items. But the only thing I just want to share is this, and it's unfortunate tonight that that a couple of people weren't able to make it because they've been ill. Carolyn Mendoza really wanted to be here, but under doctor's advice, didn't attend, and we appreciate that. But also, Ryan Smith wasn't feeling well, and I talked to him on the phone. Didn't sound too great, but he sounds like he's getting better, and is going to be back. Now, the thing is, I want to just point out, of course, that Ryan, we hired him as our director of HR about 5 years ago. And he's done an outstanding job. I mean, took a lot of pressure on a lot of things over the last year and a half. I wish him the best because I think he really is making a good choice. Having been in administration for a long time, I can tell you, you miss being able to deal with kids, and that's what he's doing. He's going to be going back and working with kids at Waterford Junior High. We also have some people in the audience who actually are retiring, and I know that they've kind of, I saw Donna Williams is not retiring, I shouldn't say that, but
Yeah.
sure, sorry. Yeah, I think everybody's retiring, Donna.
Yeah, really.
But Donna's going to Livingston, and it's a dual language immersion elementary school. We're very proud of that for you. Wish you the best of luck in that situation here. So, and I'm looking around. Of course, we've already talked about Pam. And am I missing anybody else? And we don't know when Bernice is going to officially retire. Actually,
Yeah,
we just keep bringing her back. So anyway, so that's my report for tonight. Thank you.
Mrs. Hurst?
Oh.
Sorry.
It was kind of a tough evening for me because I'm too much of a people person and I'm always concerned for people. But my biggest concern, and the reason I ran a long time ago, was for our kids. So graduations are great, watching that softball team come in here. Looking forward to back to school and trunk or treat. Yeah, okay. Anyway, and a new school year. So I just hope that everyone tries to take some time to wind down from this. And Ms. Williams, we wish you luck. Ms. Freitas, we wish you luck when you're in those casinos. Win something. Win something for me, okay? Anyway. But yes, and I hope that our staff here gets well. Okay, you're not going to live that one down.
The more I drink, the more I spend.
Yeah, really. Oh, and thank you all for your hard work.
Mr. Rivas?
Revis.
I attended the YOLO graduation and the high school. It went well. The field looked nice. I talked to Ms. Palacio. She was nervous, but you did a great job. You did it quick. High school was great. I also attended the Tosca. I think it was Ms. Arnett who said something about this might be the last banquet. I don't agree with it. I think it should keep going. It's only once a year, and it's for the kids. If it's 3 hours, 4 hours, it's once a year. I mean, I know you guys said, oh, we might not do it, but I think we should still continue to do it. Once a year. I mean, it's not that, And also the high school girls, I'm gonna say this, I've been around this district all my life. That's probably the best softball team in history, in my opinion. They fell short, but hey, they played a really good Sacramento team. They had a 6'1" freshman. Nothing you can do with that one. She was good. But enjoy the summer. I'll see you guys in August.
Mr. Cabral?
Enjoy the summer. We'll see you guys in August. That's all I got. Be safe. Invite me to all your barbecues.
What?
What?
Oh, okay.
I said invite me to all your barbecues.
Ah,
After I set fire to the backyard, I will.
Yeah, right. And you can call the firemen.
it's been a crazy half a year for me, but I wish you all the best. Have a good summer. Thank you.
Tournament?
No, he said he had nothing to
Yeah, I
say.
said.
I asked him. Okay. 6:45.
6:46.
Oh, 6:40.
Yeah.
Sorry.